Anyways, welcome to the round 12 episode of Lachie Does Footy. Sorry I wasn't there at the studio yet today because I just came down with a headache. It should be all good for tomorrow. Anyways, we're doing some recording from the home studio for now. Let's look at round 11. Hawthorn and Adelaide at Utah Stadium. The Crows played so well in this game. They gave it their all against Hawthorn, but we were unlucky. We had the chance in the dying seconds until an error from Fogarty happened, which ended up allowing Hawthorn to capitalise with Blake Hardwick kicking his fourth goal. Overall still a really good game. We were just unlucky in these close contests this year. If luck was on our side, well, the Crows will probably be 10-1 by now, and challenging for the flag. I mean, we got the team to do it, but the thing we need is consistency on the field. Richmond and Essendon at the MCG. Brad Scott has been sacked. Richmond, Essendon are now bottom of the ladder and tanking. Again, as they lost to the Richmond reserves out of all teams. How can you lose to Richmond's backup team? Oh, even with their senior team out injured, the Rezzies can do it. And now they just got Kai Anand in the mid-season draft. Essendon had got Jackson Artemis in the mid-season draft. From the other game, Hawthorn and Adelaide. Hawthorn, they've got Max Beattie coming to their team, while for the Crows, we've just got Hugo Hall-Kahan coming from Williamstown, coming to Adelaide, and he was good mates with Josh Worrell. Now for the other game, Fremantle versus St Kilda at Optus Stadium. St Kilda, they had their chance to end Fremantle's winning streak, but with Fremantle being a champion team this year, they persevered and won by 30 points. There is one rule this season: you can never write off the Fremantle Dockers. Every time you try to write them off, the Dockers would just come back. North Melbourne and Gold Coast at Marvel Stadium. What a comeback from the Kangaroos! They were down by nearly 50 points at one stage against the Gold Coast Suns. At one stage during the game, Gold Coast were winning by a lot. 44 points thanks to Ned Moyle. And then thanks to Cam Zerha having ice in his veins after the siren, the Roos would get up by 6 points. That has been as North Melbourne's first win at Marvel Stadium on an Indigenous round since 2019 against the Dogs. And also in 2019 against the Tigers. The winner was the first of two Indigenous rounds. Geelong and Sydney at GMHBA Stadium. Well, I kind of did expect Sydney to win early on this game at Geelong. But Geelong, they're just, with them claiming the category as a fortress, they're just too good at that ground. One of the last times the Cattery was a true fortress for Geelong, well, they did actually win a premiership there back in 2022. beating the Sydney Swans on grand final day that year. But on preliminary... And in the years they've also turned the category into the Fortress. They won the premiership in 2007, 9 and 11 at the ground. Being a undefeated Fortress. You can never count the Cats out of GMHBA. Collingwood versus West Coast at the MCG. Scott Pendlebury broke the record for most games at Collingwood in the AFL. Played his 433rd game. He had a great game for Collingwood. Well, I reckon this year might be the year Scott Pendlebury might actually retire in peace. He's broken the record, won the premierships. I reckon he's pretty much completed football. The Port Adelaide Reserves versus Carlton at Adelaide Oval. The Port Power Reserves. What was that performance? They can't even beat Carlton on caretaker mode. 3-8 this season for the Power. This has got to be the worst Port Adelaide season since pretty much the Matthew Primus era. It seems like 2011's pretty much back for Port Adelaide. In this game, GWS versus Brisbane at Giants Stadium. Oh my days. 14 third quarter goals from the Giants. Brisbane lost by 78 points. Comes to show, the old Brisbane Lions are basically back. No, not the Brisbane Lions, my 2024 and 2025 Lachie Does Footy episodes. But from my 2016 episodes I did earlier like 10 years ago. He was so rubbish back then. Under Justin Lepich. Before he got sacked in round 23. Anyways, last game of the round. It was a thriller at Marvel between the Bulldogs and Melbourne. Joel Frazier, he had ice in his veins and won the game for the Dogs by 3 points. Anyways, for my round 12 prediction, St Kilda versus Hawthorn at Marvel. I might actually go an upset. I might go St Kilda by 1 point. Carlton and Geelong at the MCG. I reckon the Cats by 45. Sydney versus Richmond at the SCG. Oh, come on. I'm going to go Sydney has to win this one. Swans by like 90 points. Brisbane and Freo at the Gabba. I'm going the Dockers by 10 points. Dogs and Collingwood at Marvel. I reckon the Bulldogs will get up by about 21. Melbourne and Giants over at Traeger Park in Alice Springs. Melbourne have not won at that ground in 4 years. Surely they got to break the drought. I'm going Melbourne by 10 points. This will be the game to prove to see if Clayton Oliver really was the problem in Alice Springs or was it just the Melbourne Football Club being unlucky as he plays his first game against his old club. West Coast and Essendon at Optus Stadium. Well, Essendon have just sacked Brad Scott. Dave Solomon's the new coach. I reckon Essendon will probably get up that game by 10 points. And now for the SANFL Inclusive League action in round 5. Tea Tree Gully versus Goodwood at Petraringa Oval in Tea Tree Gully. I'm going with a close contest. In this one, I reckon Goodwood will get up by probably 11 points. Tea Tree Gully been playing pretty good this season, but Goodwood Saints, they're playing just as good this season. Salisbury versus Christie's Beach at Salisbury Oval. Christie's Beach, they need to get a win on the board this year. They came so close against my boys a few weeks ago. They came so close last week against Kenilworth. They've improved a lot this season, Christie's Beach. Oh, I reckon they might get up this week against Salisbury. I'm going Christie's Beach by 11 points. Kenilworth versus Broadview at Kenilworth Oval. Kenilworth are beginning to show signs of fragility after they nearly lost to Christie's. Broadview, however, after such a positive start in the first 2 rounds. Oh, man. I think the wheels are kind of falling off the last 2 weeks. Losing to Tea Tree Gully and Goodwood by a combined margin of 110 points. This was 106 points. I reckon they might actually get close against Kenilworth. I'm going Broadview Tigers. I'm going Kenilworth by, I reckon, 1 point. I reckon it'll be the closest game of the round. Athelston versus Kilburn at Max Samba Sportsfield. I'm not confident about this game. Kilburn are just too good. We sadly got no chance. We did give a good effort against Kenilworth and Goodwood, but things aren't going our way this season. But against Kilburn, as long as we can give 100, win or lose, it doesn't matter if we win or lose against Kilburn, as long as we're there giving 110%. And play as a team. But for this game, I reckon Kilburn will probably get up by, say, probably 37 points. I reckon we are trying our best. We're only rebuilding. Once things start going our way, look out for Athelston in 2026. Anyways, that would be the end of this episode, and we'll check back next week on Biggest Game of Resi's weekend. And I've got some rhyming Lachie to do that weekend with Matty Knight and Zach Domenico. Stay tuned for the Biggest Game of Resi special with Lachie Does Footy next week.